Good morning, YouTubers. I'm sitting out on my deck
I see the pipes that
drinking coffee.
Paul put up, the collab with him and the
About
Doug.
the only pipe I smoke these days is my
It's
trusty
just,
old
I
Castile.
don't know. My personal opinion,
An
the
author
bright colors, the
for
red,
one of the pipe magazines
red and
said this
black's
was
kind
his
of cool, like the
favorite pipe,
Dracula
so I had to
Peterson,
find out
whatever's kind of
why.
cool. But
Well,
the real
after
bright
almost $600,
blues,
I can tell you why it's his
oranges,
favorite pipe.
kind
It
of too
holds a
flashy
generous
for me.
amount of tobacco depending on the bowl size you get.
Kind of mellow
And
out
number
on those.
two, it
I'm not a
draws
fan
like a
of it,
dream. I mean, I can light this pipe,
but like for a Halloween pipe, or
load
a
it
Christmas
up,
pipe, or something
light
like
it.
that. That's cool, but
I can
an
smoke it
everyday
all
pipe,
day. I mean,
myself,
easy,
I
one,
don't care for
you
it,
know.
but that's my personal
But I love it. That's the only pipe I
Uh,
smoke. And of course, the only tobacco, I haven't bought
right now,
commercial
I'll probably post
tobacco
this video
in
and then
over
head
2
out to the
years.
garage
But this is a blend of
post.
mine. It's basically
Adrian,
red Virginia
I
with some
sent your
about
package.
5, 6 other types of tobacco mixed in. That's what I'm smoking. I've been smoking
Thursday
that back
morning,
for
and
2 or 3 weeks.
tracking would have
Probably
been
gonna take me a couple months to finish
more.
it.
I didn't do it.
I'm sorry I haven't
Tracking that it
posted
comes
any
with only
videos
tracks it to
lately
out of this
about
state. Once
pipes
it
or
gets out of
whatever,
this
but
state, there's no more
I
tracking
guess
on the
everybody
tracking
knows,
that they give me.
you know, about
I didn't
some
get
of my
extra
health
tracking.
problems. Anyway, I have a whole
And they
host of
said
health problems.
sometimes even when we do buy the extra tracking, if they're not using
I was
the
seeing
digital
6
setups,
specialists every
it won't
month.
work anyway.
They drove
So
me
I said,
crazy. I want to tell you the truth. First of all, when I had
anyway,
cancer, I had
your package
cancer on
is
the
on
left
the way. I
tonsil,
sent it Thursday morning.
and it had spread
I'm
throughout
sure
my
you'll let me
lymph
know when
nodes.
you
It
got it.
all was just
Um,
about this far away from my lung, and he
But
said
I'll
that would have
email
been
you
a
too, 'cause
fatal
I don't know if
cancer.
you watch my videos or not. So
As it is, any head, what they call head and neck cancer
I will,
is
I'll
serious.
PM you and let you know that it's on its way.
I
But
mean,
as
you
of
know, so anyway,
Saturday
he
morning, it's been
consulted with me,
2
and
days
my oncologist
en route
did, and explained
to
the
you.
different treatments
And I
and what
appreciate
he
that, buddy.
worked up,
I'm going to post your
according to his
video of
calculations, would work.
ADC's
But I would have to take
portrait
4
they
chemos and
gave me
then
for my
6
wall
weeks of radiation
to
5
add
days
with
a
the
week.
rest.
I want to tell you what,
As
that
you seen in
chemo
my other
did
video,
me in
Sue
worse than
had me
basic
a frame
training.
made.
You know, fighting
Paul.
overseas. I mean, it
Had me a
knocked
frame
my
made.
ass off, to be
Had
polite
me a
about
brighter
it.
pipe made by
It kept
Paul
me on
Menard.
my knees for
She
about a
sent it.
year.
That's on my wall. Robert McCauley.
And
the
after that, I said, if
sophisticated
it ever comes back, screw it. I'm
is on
I'm
my
done
wall,
with that shit.
which I couldn't think of that name in my
But
video.
after 5 years,
So I'm
6
trying to
years
correct
now,
what I
it
did wrong in my
hadn't
video.
returned. They thought it was going to a couple weeks ago. Kind
And
of scared me.
I have a picture my sister got
But
me for
blood
Christmas.
tests didn't show anything
And I have
unusual.
Luke,
Thank the Lord.
Essex
Or else they'd be
Artesian.
cutting and probing and all kind of shit.
He made me one for my wall.
And I don't want to go through none of that crap
And
again. I don't care if it's to
Smoking
save
Grandpa
my ass. I ain't
made me
doing it.
one for my
So
wall.
I'm hearing about
I got all these pictures
cannabis
up
oil.
on
I
my
want to
wall.
tell you, I
It's
started
kind
smoking pot, weed,
for all the
marijuana,
YouTube pipe community
Mary Jane,
artists,
whatever the
let's
heck
say,
you want to call it, back in
smoke a pipe.
'67, out in
wall's
LA
getting pretty full.
when the movement
There's
was
any
going
artists
on.
out
I mean,
there
everybody had
that,
pot. If you didn't, hey brother,
interested
you want a
in
J? Here,
making a
man, let's get
portrait
high.
of a pipe-related
That kind of thing. So
picture.
I always thought about
more than
cannabis
welcome to
as
work out a trade or purchase to add to my wall.
just a recreational, hey
Anyway,
man,
just
let's
chatting
go get
around
relaxed
now,
kind
so.
of thing, you know.
With that, YouTube.
And I always liked it
See you
because
in
you
the
can
next
go to
video.
work
Bye now.
smoking, which I did for several years. In the morning, I'd roll me up about 5 joints. I'd smoke one halfway to work, and then at lunch, I'd smoke the other half.
YouTube, what's up?
And then coming home,
I
I
just
light
got a
up
message.
another one. So
From Sue Dunhill.
I was pretty much buzzed
told
all
me
the time. And I loved it.
That Sayers
Kept me
Pike
calm.
is having a 300 sub
Then,
draw.
in 1985, I quit.
So,
Pot,
shoot over to Sayers
alcohol, everything. Just quit.
Pikes.
Because I had
Northern Ireland.
a broken leg that
And
they
he
had
has a
to
whip
piece
sore.
back together, and I was laid up for about
300
2
sub
years.
gaw.
So I just
The
give it
winner
all up.
gets to choose a pike
Didn't
from
think
his
anything
web
about
store.
it. When I got
Can't beat that, could you?
moved back to Georgia,
So, this is kind of a
I
shout out
discovered
for
I had
Sue.
all these problems, and I didn't know what they were. Had to quit work. Couldn't work no more. Couldn't stand, bend, do all kind of crap. Plus, I felt like, holy shit. Whoa. I remember I couldn't even sit up in the bed sometimes. So finally, I heard about arthritis this, arthritis that. Find a rheumatologist. So I found a rheumatologist. They're rare, and they're hard to get appointments with. But I've been seeing her for, God dang, 14 years or so. And anyway, she told me I had rheumatoid arthritis. It's an autoimmune disease. There's a lot of autoimmune diseases. What that simply means is your body is fighting itself. It tries to destroy itself. So that's what RA is. It's horrible. Anybody that has it, I'll pray for you. So got that. Started doing some weird medications to try to control the effects of RA. They made me sicker, and one of them was probably the cause of the cancer, because there's warnings about taking it to this day. Enbrel. So anyway, that, going through cancer, 2 heart attacks, laid up on the operating table for 4 hours so they could fix the blood veins in my chest and shit, and that was lovely. And then she told me, she said, well, you got a partial blockage in your big artery. You got to come back. I'm like, okay. Yep, if I feel good, fuck you. So anyway, I'm still taking heart medications, needless to say, about 6 pills a day, but one of them almost killed me. Started making me bleed out all my red cells, not getting oxygen. Shit, my oncologist was scratching his damn head. What the hell is causing this? And then he found out when I was in the hospital, I was throwing up cupfuls of blood. He said, you taking Eliquis? Yeah. Cut that out right now. I'm calling your physician. Did, after a transfusion of iron, 2 blood transfusions, and quitting Eliquis, my blood levels are back to normal. So anyway, I'm saying all this shit to say this. I heard about experiments with cannabis. Of course, I know what cannabis is. Shit, I used to deal in it. So there's lots of scientific study going on. These professors in Jerusalem, Israel, they started experimenting in the lab and breaking the active compounds down back in the early 60s, and they did that for 30 years, tested it on babies. Now the old folks in their old folks home over there, retirees, they wheel around, stand up, smoking pot all day because it's beneficial. And so I'm like, dang, man, that makes them feel better, controls arthritis, and a host of other crap. And I'm like, well, dang, let's research this further. So I started finding out about cannabis curing cancers. Not one kind, but all kinds. And not only that, curing just about every imaginable problem you might have. Now, I ain't talking about broken bones and shit, but, you know, diseases, problems you get as you get older and stuff, it helps you. they found out we were born with cannabinoid receptors in our body all over. And the way it works is crazy. When you do THC, CBD, it affects those receptors. It gets in the receptors, and then the receptor looks all over it. It goes like, hey man, we need to send the SEAL Team 6 down here. So they do. They find a cancer cell. They trick the cancer cell into dying and cut the blood supply off to it, and then when it goes away, it rebuilds cells. That freaks my shit out right there, I'm telling you. And so it controls colon cancer, prostate cancer. It don't control it, cures it. There's been cases of people that's had melanoma on their faces, took a little dab of oil, once a day for about a week, gone, go back to the doctor. What the hell did you do? And, up until the 1920s, late 20s, about every kind of medicine that was sold, if you look at the label, had cannabis in it. Every one of them, some kind of cannabis in it. But the percentages of the strength of the cannabis in the products differed, so you didn't know if you was getting a good one or a bad one, And at that time, all over the world, hemp was grown to use as different products, medicine, clothes, building materials, paper, all kind of shit. The first Bible was printed on cannabis. This country was built on cannabis, which I never knew. Washington, Jefferson, all them grew hemp because at that time shipping was extremely important. Guess what they made sails out of? Yep, hemp. Ropes, hemp. Very important. So we grew it and shipped it. And became rich off of it. That and tobacco. So all that stuff was legal up until the 30s, and the jazz blues culture started popping up. Next thing you know, the politicians and all the shitheads that didn't like different cultures mixing in blamed it on pot. And that's when they came out with all that marijuana stupid shit, craze films and yellow journalism and all that. And then Richard Nixon put the final nail in the coffin. You go back and look at the history of Nixon. I lived through it. He was an asshole. And I believe in Republican, but he is the biggest asshole president I had ever seen. He purposely called out the guard on the protesters at Kent State. 4 people got shot and killed. He wanted to eradicate the peace movement and the hippie movement and cut off their supplies of funds, and he did it. He classified cannabis as the #1 Schedule 1 drug, more dangerous than cocaine and morphine and all that shit. And so, being Schedule 1, it means it has no medical value according to the government. Okay? And that's where it's been for years until I think California was the first state to legalize medical use marijuana because of all the research. And that was, I don't know how long ago. In Georgia, they decriminalized pot as long as you have like 28 grams or less. First time you get caught, they just give you a verbal warning. Second time, it's like a ticket. It's just a misdemeanor bullshit thing that, So now, whenever you go around here to buy a bag of weed, man, you want a Z, guess what you get? About 26 grams. Well, anyway, on to the cannabis oil research. There are thousands of doctors across the country now that realized the medical value of cannabis. So I decided, with all this and what I found out, that I quit taking my pain medication. I've been on pain medication for 15 years. Oxycodone, morphine, you name it. I mean, the heaviest shit you could get. And I said, well, I'm about tired of this. So I just cut it off, quit, did the research on pot. And I smoke it every day, and I do feel better. But, you know, you have to come out and light a joint up outside about 4 times a day, take a few puffs, and that helps me go to sleep at night. And my hands and shit don't swell up anymore just from smoking. But I still have horrible joint pain, so I need to get a hold of some cannabis oil. And I've been watching videos on how to make it, but and I'm going to probably next month. I'm gonna buy me a Z and turn it into oil and see what that does. I believe it'll help me greatly. Not only that, my dad's in his late 80s, and boy, he can hardly get around, and I just want to get him some so that he can do better. Think about all the babies in hospitals. Do you know 22 veterans commit suicide every freaking day? They're coming back from the wars overseas because of what they call PTSD. They found out that if they smoke pot and shit, their PTSD goes away. But guess what? Since the federal government's declared illegal Schedule 1, the VA can't prescribe it. Ain't that some shit? Think about this. Since Schedule 1 says it has no medical value and it's dangerous, does that make any sense that now it's being used for medicine? Something freaking needs to change in the government. We almost legalized it last year, but something happened. They didn't like one part of the bill, pulled it out, argued about it. So they passed a medical bill that's totally stupid. You can go to a doctor and get a prescription. Guess what? There's no way to get it because they left out the part about growing it and processing it and all that shit. So there's no way to legally get it anywhere in this state. You have to go to another state where it is legal, like Florida and all those states who passed medical marijuana bills last voting season. Oh shit, I've been running my mouth too long. Anyway, I just want to tell everybody I'm still here, still kicking around. I'll try to post more videos. In the meantime, y'all have a cup of Java, pipe, and it is cool here. It is winter. You can see the gray skies. So, y'all stay warm, smoke a pipe, take care.